And today, you all do know that the show has been dedicated to the start of the National Prayer and Fasting. And we'll give you the prayer point, the prayer topics, etc. But also, we will want to do the newspapers. But before we do that, let's give you an update as to all that's been happening. And if you go to some of the best sites, and this one is worldmeters.info.coronavirus, you get the latest update. The worldwide figures are 422,000 and counting. Now, if you scroll up, you find the view by country. We'll not go there now. Total deaths across the world, we have 18,900. Still growing and growing in some astronomical figures. But the good news is that there are a number of recoveries. Look, among all the cases that have been recorded, 400,000 in excess, we do have 100,000 also in excess recovery. So at least there's good news for those who tend to have it. But you all do know that for the active cases that are up, we have 290,000 currently infected patients, and they keep growing. So far, they form about 96% of the mild conditions, being 281,000, and the serious cases across the world are just 13,000. So it means that if you have a health system that's able to cope with the management of the cases, then you are in a good stead or position to be able to manage them. And we'll take you through some of the incidentals in terms of the growth, etc. Let's go country by country and try to do some views to get to know where we are now. China, by January, had told the world that, look, even though there were reports that from October, November, there were snipers of information that a number of the cases that were being reported in Wuhan, that's the Hubei province, the epicenter, were coronavirus cases. Now we accept that this is the situation. So the cases started racking up. They started increasing by January. And they also decided to institute a lockdown by close of January 23 thereabout. And so they've been able to manage the cases so far. What they do have is 81,000 of these cases, and they haven't been recording new cases in the numbers astronomically as they were before. So they just had about +4 new deaths, and then just new cases being recorded at 47 as of the last count, the last minute, because this is real-time data. It is Italy that is now the epicenter. And subsequently, they have countries like Spain and all that. But far off, in the United States of America, we have cases increasing. And this one is a main concern for Donald Trump, the administration, and then also the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control. And the United States has 54,000 of these cases. Now, you have, for example, states like Georgia, just by the beginning of the month had 2, and now they do have thousands. And that speaks volumes of how fast the spread is, because then if you don't quarantine over time, you tend to have the cases increasing. Germany has 32. We also do have Iran, which initially was reporting the cases very high, has now been able to do some containment, so they just have 24,000. It's still increasing a bit, looking at the state of Iran, their health facilities, etc. And then we have France, Switzerland, South Korea. Now, let's come to the Ghana situation. And it's the reason why we have today dedicated for fasting and prayer. I'm in that mood. So you can see that I ooze fasting and prayer. And we'll go to the Ghana situation very soon. You get to also find how the genesis of this was and where we need to go. Now, let's look at this. that's Ghana's journey so far. It's not a palatable one, but since the president instituted all the measures based on the directives leading to a restrictions bill that was passed into law, it looked like now we're on a good step. But the cases had been coming in. And just the recent one, increase in the numbers to 52, it's for good reason. A number of people, close to 1,000 people who had traveled into Ghana had been quarantined. And then a number of them were tested. So we have at least 25 of them indicating that they had some positive case of coronavirus. The results are still trickling in according to what the Ministry of Health says. But what should we be doing? And apart from a national day dedicated to fasting and prayer, it's also about making sure that we stay put where we are in our homes, making sure we reduce contact even among ourselves. And when you're sick, the World Health Organization currently says sometimes if you have an overwhelmed hospital, that's not where you have to go to. You have to go and report to the right authorities. All right, but that's not Ghana's case at the moment. But we need to keep the education going. And myself and Mama Viosa Boaje, we're right here today. We'll give you all the information you need. Men of God will be passing through the studio. And look, Jesus and Allah will be with us.